Collaboration at Wellington is really core to who we are culturally. And collaboration with my colleagues on the private investing side are really deep. And they're deep across multiple dimensions. On one hand, we get access to and insight into the companies that these other investors are seeing across the venture ecosystem, meaning that we can keep a pulse on early stage activity and how that may ultimately impact the late stage universe that we invest in. Similarly, we have the opportunity to leverage leads that the earlier stage investors may come across. And so the early stage teams may come across companies that are late stage in nature and therefore may be a fit for us. And we can leverage that to get introductions and to build relationships with those businesses. And finally, we can take some of our learnings as a late stage private team and help our earlier stage colleagues understand what sort of environment their portfolio companies will face as they go out for later stage financings. As a late stage private investor, the ability to leverage the knowledge base of a $1.4 trillion asset manager with 3,000 employees globally is really a huge advantage for us. And it's exciting because the ability for us to understand the sectors we invest in, the ability for us to understand how the public market will receive companies that we're evaluating, the benefit that we get being able to speak with and being able to leverage the knowledge base of such deep experts is really a huge benefit to us. And that benefit applies not just to us in investment decision making, but also to our private companies who get to leverage the collective knowledge of Wellington as they go from their journey of being great private companies to being great public companies.